Hey everybody.
Is it live?
Mad Cat Hat, that's not your name.
Mad Cat Hat. Colin Molly.
We are a little flustered. We're trying... Let's just say that the previous 40 minutes of this podcast was our very first test.
It sounds like we're going, and we've only got a few second delay. It might be freaking working!
I think it's working.
You know what that means?
Let's just say that oh my god, that's my ugly voice.
Let's
ugly turn that down.
You shut your beautiful face, your ugly voice.
Oh my god, we're back.
In that case, you know what? Welcome back to Can We Keep It?
The first test podcast from Mollancholy and the Madhat Kat.
Oh my good gracious and good golly gee whiz bang.
Yeah, for anyone who was watching previously, who comes back and sees this again, we're sorry. We're very new to this, and we weren't expecting this OBS encoding error, which apparently happens a lot. But we're connected to the 5.0 internet now. We've tweaked the settings quite a bit. And
at the very least... It sounds like the audio is coming through.
Yeah, we were on like a 3-minute delay last time. So.
We don't want to hem and haw and harp on it.
Nope.
We'll just get back to what we were talking about before. We were talking about Beauty and the Beast.
Yes, we were.
One of our favorite classic Disney movies, and by classic I mean from the Disney Renaissance. We were saying these are the good things about it, and then that's when we started running into trouble.
Yep, it didn't want us to... I'm telling you, the world has been trying to prevent us from having this Disney discussion.
It's not going to
happen. It may be a conspiracy. Oh, thank you, media. Media's back, by the way.
Hey,
Hi,
media. Thanks for coming back and joining us.
Seriously, we really appreciate it. I know how painful that must have been to watch and listen to. I hope you went and took a shower and had a snack, did something.
Took care of some things.
Yeah, but yeah, so...
thank you. We go back and forth about our voices. Sometimes we love them, and sometimes we're like, what are those things that are coming out? No!
Yeah, it's a roller coaster. But yeah, so getting back to what we were talking about, we talked about a lot of...
There are many things to love about Beauty and the Beast.
There really are, and
great animation, good storytelling, good music,
excellent casting.
Yes, and I want to say was Al. I'm not gonna look it up on my computer this time. That's a trap. Hey there, Siege. Thanks for jumping back in.
Came back. Thank you. We're sorry.
I want to say Alan Menken. Maybe was involved with Beauty and the Beast. That may be a lie. I'm double checking myself here.
You know names of behind the scenes folk much more than I do.
I really shouldn't because I'm not the sort of person who remembers that. I think the only reason I know Alan Menken is because I have to research composers and lyricists before I sing a song for my voice classes.
Ah, yes.
But yes, anyway. Oh, yeah. Or at least he helped out. No, yeah. He totally was. I didn't make that shit up.
So what did Alan Menken do for Beauty and the Beast?
He did the music.
Oh, okay. Well,
and he also did The Little Mermaid. I believe did he help out on Frozen? He's worked on a lot of my favorite Disney movies. He has a really great style.
Yeah. Well, and I that's something else too that I was going to mention before is that I think that Beauty and the Beast also has some of the best music. When it comes to the sort of, I just absolutely love it. I think it has some of the best music that Disney has to offer. So that's great. And as much as I hate The Little Mermaid, which I do, it's my least favorite Disney film, but I have to admit the music is spectacular. Yeah, the music is great. I don't think anybody could deny it. And I love Ursula, but I hate The Little Mermaid.
It's totally cool.
Yeah.
You're entitled to your opinion.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
It's a free country. It's a free podcast.
I am free to hate The Little Mermaid. It's a good freedom to have. Okay, so we're getting all of our coughs out. We're getting all of our... We're getting back into the swing of things. Yeah, but the things, I guess we were getting ready to talk about things that were maybe not so great about Beauty and the Beast.
Maybe that we're just not a huge fans of.
Yeah, I do agree with, I was actually, I can't remember if it was Jenny Nicholson, it was somebody that I was watching that was making a comment about Beauty and the Beast. It was just sort of an offhand comment even, talking about the ridiculousness of Belle's quote-unquote dreams of a life of adventure, kind of landing her in a castle just like a short distance away from where she lives, conceivably for the rest of her life.
It's a short distance. I mean, the men have to sorry, not the men, the mob, because once you join a mob, you are no longer men. They had to travel through the night to get to the castle.
Well, that is true. But I guess I was saying, when her song in the beginning, where she mentioned, or toward the beginning of the film,
Adventure in the Great Wide
in
Somewhere.
the Great Wide Somewhere suggests to me like an ocean voyage.
I'm going to touch a dandelion.
Right? She had plans. She had goals and dreams that should have taken her very, very far away from, this small rural area of France where she lived, and I agree, that was something they tried to correct. It was an oversight that they tried to correct in the live action.
I gotcha.
And I appreciated that. It was one of the only things I liked about the live action adaptation.
The thought.
Yeah, it was a nice thought.
It was a nice thought.
Because that bothered me too. I'm like, come on, Belle. You were there for what, like a year, 6 months to a year at Beast's castle.
Yeah.
And that's just, conjecture. And so, I mean, what...
If you'd seen the sequel, you'd know why she cared so much.
I have seen the sequel.
Shit went down. I know, I just meant, when I said you, I didn't mean like, you!
Oh.
I meant like, the wider you, the French vous.
I like that. I like that you brought French into it. But yeah, so that was always a little sad to me, because it was such an important...
You had dreams of adventure, and you were like, or I could just get married.
It's like,
Prince,
I'm going to live in this castle for the rest of my life. Who knows, though? Maybe they did go on adventures. There's no reason to believe that they didn't once the story stopped.
To be fair, like, and I don't want to say, like... She got a taste of adventure and, like, that was enough. I mean, she did get chased by wolves multiple times.
Yeah. She was imprisoned, held against her will.
And held against her will.
Starved for a short period of time.
For a short period of time.
Very, very short. But
and if you consider the Christmas sequel canon, she was tormented and manipulated and tricked by a sneaky old haunted organ, basically. And that is...
I forgot about
Hey there, Pugs. Thanks for coming back. Good to have you.
Hi, Pugs.
Molly says hi if you couldn't hear. Oh, and Siege, I don't remember a whole lot. Like, I can't think of it off the top of my head. I couldn't sing you a song from it. But I do love the music in a Goofy movie.
I'll be right back, guys. Be right back.
I was going to take a break.
Oh, no.
I thought you were going to be talking. No, I do enjoy that movie, and I'll probably get back to that at some point. We should talk about... movies or animated Disney movies that only saw a televised release or a straight-to-video release. But as far as the bad things go, back to the bad things, rather, in Beauty and the Beast, her giving up... Well, not really giving up. I don't think she gave up her dreams. Molly is probably a little less... willing to give the Disney princesses the benefit of the doubt, just like me with Frozen. I'm like, well, I mean, I really don't like Anna, but I guess it's not her fault because her parents were jerks and had trolls erase her memory, and although I guess that doesn't make it her fault.
I do like, though...
I want to play devil's advocate because they're not here to defend themselves.
No, they're not. It's true. And I did actually kind of like Anna because she was... Everything that was done, everything that happened to Anna, and they were all mistakes, and they were meant to be mistakes. Mm-hmm. Which I think that's also nice because the majority of the Disney princesses seem to be somewhat immune to mistakes, immune to that sort of that human element that we all have where we do stupid things.
I do say that. They're not just perfectly good and kind and sweet.
No, because and again, I'm sorry to go back to Little Mermaid, but even Ariel, who in my opinion made nothing but mistakes throughout the entirety of The Little Mermaid. She's
an anti-hero if you think about it.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a word you could use. But, like, she made nothing but mistakes throughout the film, and but she was... We really only see a modicum of the suffering that she had to endure at the hands of those mistakes. What did she really learn? Because at the...
She didn't turn into sea foam or have her tongue cut out.
No, and I think she should have. I would like to put out there that I think Ariel should have had her tongue cut out.
When they do... can't remember off the top of my head all of the Disney movies that are getting live action remakes.
The list is probably as long as anything.
But if they did a Little Mermaid live action remake, I think they should include some of that stuff from the original Hans Christian Anderson fairy tale.
Yeah, I agree.
Media, I love the Aladdin soundtrack, too. Another Alan Menken movie, if I remember correctly. The man is just fantastic. Living with mistakes. Do you think Belle has any mistakes that she makes in Beauty and the Beast? I think... Let's see. She's pretty righteous, like, through the first bit of the movie. I think it was a mistake for her to disobey her captor's wishes, and maybe there are people who disagree with me here, but disobey with the captor's wishes and went into the West Wing. She wasn't supposed to go there. I think that was a mistake. Maybe if she hadn't gone there, maybe she never would have found out that there was some connection between this prince that used to live in the palace and the beast that now inhabits it.
I'm really back.
Do you...
Sorry, that's my Judd Hirsch text notification. It means that someone has gone live. Brando has gone live.
Well, la da da.
All right, I should turn that down.
I was talking about we were talking about Disney princesses that made mistakes and had to see some suffering because of it.
Which
and I was trying to think of some for Belle. I
think Belle falls in line with the not being really. She's a little immune to mistakes, you know.
She doesn't really suffer any of the consequences. The one that I thought of was like she went in the West Wing. That I would call that a mistake.
I would, but I also
was
on
doesn't
her
do
side
anything
about that, because if the Beast had just, explained a little bit more
and
from the beginning.
And even though she did get chased by wolves, who got hurt because of it?
Yeah.
The Beast.
Yeah,
that is how it happens, right? Because he catches her in there, you're expressly forbidden to come in here, and then he does the big giant, get out! Yeah, it's true. And she runs away, and she gets chased by wolves, no?
No, that's exactly what happens. Yeah,
that's exactly what... Okay, I'm not misremembering.
Promise or no promise, I can't stay in this castle another minute. And then she runs out. Yeah, and then that's when she's
this little tiny cloak that, nobody should be... And also, she has no socks on. She has no socks.
Oh, that's true. Well, I don't think any of them wore socks in the beginning, did they?
Well, I'm just saying, like, she's going through the snow and stuff. I'm like,
yeah.
Girl, that's a mistake right there. You went out in the snow with those socks on.
True.
This little tiny ballet flats.
And I'm so sorry. I just wanted to respond really quickly to Pugs. Pugs, we are not doing Playroom broadcasts anymore. We're actually going to be sticking with this format, I think. So I'm sorry that you can't see our faces, but until
I was going to say we're going to be teaching me games though, right? We'll do it for that.
Yeah,
because I just saw this new skin for Overwatch. And I think you know the one I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, Blizzard World is out. I am so excited.
I was like, well, now I need to play it.
If you want to learn Overwatch on Tuesday, I'd be more than happy, because I don't have anything scheduled for Tuesdays yet. Eventually, I wanted to start doing Surviving with Subs and Dead by Daylight, but I'm not there yet. If you wanted, we could do Let's Teach Cat on Tuesdays, and we'll teach you games on Tuesdays. And then Cat will be
as long as
Facecam.
I can get my flight changed, because technically I'm supposed to be going to... San Francisco on Monday.
I didn't know you were leaving so
soon. I'm coming back.
Okay,
but no, I'm gonna try. I'm trying to push my flight a couple of days.
Will you be back in time for Thursday? Will you be back in time for Thursday?
I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Media said that they like Aladdin's soundtrack. Yeah, I now see.
I was like, yeah, it's another Alan Menken.
Mm-hmm. Alan Menken is good. I mean, obviously, I didn't know.
Yes, I could be around for Thursday. And then the nice thing about doing if we can't do the Playroom web or chats, whatever we call them, we can still do this because we can do it at a distance.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll have to figure out how to do so, but we can do that over the next week.
Yeah, so that if you're not here, we can still do it.
I'll be gone for a few weeks, but we will still be in touch, and I will come back.
Okay, good. But yeah, what were we?
We were talking about mistakes. I don't know if there were there any other like things that we huge fan of for Beauty and the Beast, and then maybe we can pull another movie in.
Yeah, that was really, I guess, it for me. That and growing up for me, growing up a young girl worshiping Beauty and the Beast, I do feel, and this has been kind of offered up by a lot of other people who have talked about Disney over the course of the last, 15, 20 years, that it does, especially films like Beauty and the Beast and The Little Mermaid, those early Disney princess, quote-unquote Disney princess films, really kind of did help create some pretty unrealistic expectations in relationships for young girls who grew up watching them, and I think that the Beauty and the Beast kind of plays a lot into that whole sort of reformed rake trope where you have the horrible person who is just, he has no soul whatsoever, and he's abusive, and he's, got anger issues, and he's just really an all-around shitty guy. And all it really takes to turn him into a wonderful person is the love of a good woman. And that, I think, was a problem with Beauty and the Beast. Because, that is exactly what the film suggests. It's like, it doesn't matter how bad you are, how evil you are. The true love's kiss will save the day. And I think that can set people who grow up with that story kind of being drilled into their mind up for some serious and hard-learned disappointments. And so that kind of bothered me. It bothers me now. Obviously, it didn't bother me then. It's as I get older and I develop a sort of deeper understanding of Beauty and the Beast's nuances and its many layers, that's something that I become more and more disturbed by. But I still absolutely love the film. It's, and I think I've since grown out of that phase of trying to fix the broken guy, which I used to blame Beauty and the Beast for my habit of doing that. Like, oh, well, I can totally fix this asshole. Like, yes, he's horrible and he's so mean and like...
But if I work really hard...
Yep, I'll teach him to read and I'll teach him to eat soup with a spoon and we will live happily ever after.
He'll start taking baths.
Getting little bows in his hair.
And get a haircut.
Yeah, the birds will love him. It was just, it did create some unrealistic expectations.
To be fair, that is actually a pretty good gauge as to whether or not you should be dating a person is, do animals hate them? All right. Just in general, and then like if you have any animals specifically, your animal should at least be able to tolerate that person. Like they don't have to love them.
It's true. If my cat, if my cat freaks out in a negative way or gets like overly aggressive with someone that they've just met,
know.
Yeah, they do. They know. Yeah, I use the cat test. I have used the cat test on multiple occasions.
Yes, it's basically Stockholm Syndrome, Siege.
It really is. It's glorified Stockholm Syndrome. But it's so good.
But it's so romantic.
It's such romantic.
But
Stockholm
again,
syndrome.
it was part of our childhood, and that's why it's so ingrained. And just the way that we think about things, you and me, and I'm sure plenty of other people who would be listening to this podcast in the first place, really delve deeply into those things from our childhood. Like Disney movies.
Well, and I think too that sort of I don't know that I necessarily want to call it a controversy, but that's where the question, did Disney ruin our lives, really kind of comes from. The fact that these films have these sort of deeper lying messages that we grew up with, deeply ingrained in the back of our minds, so that we are still thinking about them in our 30s.
Whether or not it was intentional.
Oh, of course. And I don't think that...
Regardless of intention, if something has an effect, it has an effect.
Right. And I know that there are
intention is all very fine and good, but
there
it's
are
only
whole college courses that are available for the study of Disney films and their influence and whether or not they are a malicious or malevolent presence.
Where you can take college level courses that have to do with Disney movies.
Yeah.
Or just, the whole concept of Disney. So good.
They're important. Whether they're helpful or harmful or both, they're important. And Beauty and the Beast, I always felt, was one of the most helpful and potentially harmful films, partly harmful films in my life. Because I did have to overcome Beauty and the Beast.
The correct presentation of it. Like, you'd have to be able to watch it if you were a child. You'd have to be able to watch it with an adult, or at least have adults in your life. In your life.
I've had such a good life. What is this life?
I don't even know, man.
You know that moment when you realize you've been saying a word wrong your whole life? I mean, I'm sorry. Do you know that moment when you realize you've been saying a word wrong your whole life?
You mean like mischievous? You mean like mischievous?
Ah, yes.
Mischievous is not a word.
There's no way to say that, though, but mischievous.
But it doesn't, mischievous doesn't sound quite as mischievous as mischievous does.
Yeah, I agree. And you know who would have said it properly would have been the Wicked Queen from Snow White. One? From Snow White. She would have said mischievous, and
she would have.
It would have made sense.
And you were like, yeah, I believe you. That's how that word is said, and exactly. I will fight anyone to the death who says otherwise.
Exactly. But yeah, so I guess the point that I was making, going back to just sort of drawing that, looking at examining Disney films, which we do, Kat and I do all the time
on a regular basis,
is I think because of that duality, because it's both helpful and harmful. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's important to realize that Disney films are something that stay with us forever, but they are also things that I think we need to overcome. When we are raised on them, we are raised in the Disney universe, we do, as adults, have to overcome some of the lessons that we learned consuming Disney films as though they were oxygen as children. And that's what I think makes them all the more interesting than a lot of other things out there. Yeah. Like, it's fucking interesting that I feel like I was truly emotionally traumatized by Beauty and the Beast. Yeah. And that I've had to actually recover from that as a grown-up. You know?
Well, and there are things that we encounter, especially in older Disney movies, where even when you're a child, you knew something's wrong about this.
Little Mermaid.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna go more with actually, let me see if you can guess where I'm going with it just by naming these. The Jungle Book and Dumbo.
Oh, Dumbo.
I'll give you one more just in case you're not seeing the theme here. Song of the South.
I never saw Song of the South.
But you don't need to.
I think I know what you're talking about. I think I know where you're going with this.
Well, I've been done seeing about everything.
Oh, God, seriously, yeah.
When I see an elephant fly. Not an elephant. Elephant. Yeah. It's just seeing things like that when you're a kid and you know something's not quite right.
Yeah, it just feels a little racist.
It's a little, or a lot.
Or a lot racist, yeah.
Even if it was socially acceptable at the time.
Yeah.
There's another thing we could touch on real quick. Is this conflict that we're in? Did Disney ruin our lives? Did Disney make me accidentally racist? I'm retitling the episode. That's what it is. Did Disney make me accidentally racist? Even though, like the song says, everybody's a little bit racist sometimes.
Yeah.
I was actually really lucky growing up and was exposed to a lot of people from a lot of different countries, languages, ethnic backgrounds, religious background. So my whole life, I've never felt like a white person. In case you were wondering, my ethnicity is entirely European, as far as I know. So like, if those things still felt weird though. The jazz bows in Jungle Book, King Louie and all the monkeys, which they didn't all exactly have bubble lip. It's not quite as bad with the bubble lip as it is in, say, some oh no, I've totally forgot. We did this when we were talking about growing up with gaming. The frickin' who did Thumbelina animator?
Oh, Don Bluth.
Yes, Don Bluth. Why can't I remember his name?
I don't know.
I don't know what's wrong. It's like wearing a hole in my brain. But like Don Bluth really has a thing for drawing the bubble lip, which if you guys don't know what that is, it's basically just a big fat bottom lip that may or may not denote blackness in a character. It doesn't always happen like that, but it's a thing. I have to say though, I don't remember the Jungle Book. Mm-hmm.
I know that I saw it when I was a kid, but I don't remember it. And I never saw the Song of the South. But I'm just going from my experience with Dumbo.
Yeah.
Growing up watching Dumbo as a kid, which it was never one of my favorites, so I didn't watch it a lot. But I remember it was just the very what is the word that I'm looking for? The exaggerated stereotypes that were present in some of the animation.
Yeah.
I have to say that my memory of it, And I'm not saying it almost feels to me, and I don't know if this is gonna sound weird or not. It might sound.
I'm
weird.
excited to hear it.
Well,
yes, Siege. Jim Crow was the name of the main crow.
Yeah,
his name was Jim Crow.
Right? And I guess
Jesus Christ.
I guess for me, in my memory of it,
Uh-huh.
Now, I'm not saying that it is in any way ever okay to perpetuate exaggerated stereotypes. That's not okay at all. But my memory of Dumbo was not of anything hateful.
Yeah.
Present.
Oh, no. It
throughout.
was the happy-go-lucky country Negro is what it was.
Like that, it was like Americana almost.
Yeah.
It was sort of like that African American
and that's what
Americana?
No,
I don't know what that's
America,
the right thing to say.
Southern Americana.
Like South America. Well, it was like those. Quick story. I found these recipe cards at a thrift store years ago, back when I was doing that sort of like resell thing where you go to the thrift store and you find the thing that they're selling for 50 cents and you're like, this looks like it's worth more than that. So
I will sell it for 25 cents more.
I got $120 from a pack of hand-drawn recipe cards that they were selling for 50 cents at this thrift store.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, they were valued at $120. I didn't sell them. I held on to them for a long time because they were really cool. It was just this box with these hand-drawn recipe cards and all of the imagery on the cards. It was for very sort of like lots of like cornbread recipes and like, very Southern recipes.
Yeah.
And all of the imagery were those exaggerated stereotypes from the turn of the century, getting into the 20th century, those exaggerated black stereotypes.
Were they all mammy? With
They were, yeah,
with the
lots
polka
of
dot
mammy stuff.
handkerchief.
Yeah, and
on the head.
I thought when I looked at them,
hands on the hips. Wide hips.
Yeah, my first thought when seeing these cards was I was like, this is fucking interesting. I was interested in this because I have not seen much of that imagery.
Right.
And that's the kind of imagery that was present in Dumbo. And it is absolutely an exaggerated stereotype that I'm so glad no longer exists today. But there was just nothing hateful about it. I didn't see it and think, well, this was made by somebody who's fucking racist.
Yeah.
That wasn't the thought that came into my head. It was like, this is someone who had an exaggerated idea in their head of a particular type of person. And yes, it's wrong, but it wasn't hateful. So that's why it's hard for me to look at movies like Dumbo and think, well, Dumbo was fucking racist. Fuck a bunch of Dumbo. Because it didn't raise me to, think any of those thoughts,
I totally understand that. I like what you're saying. Like, you look at it, and it doesn't look like it was drawn with hate. And
it doesn't make it great, but it doesn't.
And that's the thing about racism. As I say, being an expert on such matters, not at all. That's the thing about racism or positive racism,
like an interesting concept,
like Asians being really really good at math, and by Asians we mean anybody
it's like a
from
complisalt.
The islands, anybody from Southeast Asia. Actually, no. People do believe that, and when I say people, I mean white America. Belief that people from Southeast Asia are good at math, or at the very least, IT.
Right. Or when people crack jokes about me being good with money.
Yes.
That sort of thing. Because...
because you're Jewish.
Because the stereotype is that if I'm a Jew, obviously, I'm really good with money, which is hilarious. Check my bank account. It's a fucking lie. But no, I mean, it's true. It's almost like a complisalt. It's like we're paying homage to you in a slightly insulting way.
Well, see, and I don't know if I'd have to go back and watch it again, and I'd love to. Maybe you've shown me these illustrated recipe cards at some point.
Yeah.
I'd love to see those if they still
They're
exist
weirdly
somewhere.
Beautiful, and I don't want to say that in a way that makes me sound like I'm like in favor of any kind of racial stereotyping, because I'm not.
It's difficult to look at like something and like with Dumbo. Do you look at that? Do you look at the crows, the way they sing and speak, and also considering the fact that the main one, Jim Crow, was played by a white guy, and the rest of them was played by a black. I want to say they were a jazz band. Yeah. Would you call it cultural appropriation?
Right.
Like, it's an homage. And I was like, or
exactly.
you took the thing that you thought would be neat and serve your purposes, but you're using it in a way that doesn't necessarily reflect the fact or is sensitive to the fact that this part of these people's history was kind of fucked up.
No, absolutely. And that is why I don't at all...
Aside from that, well, and then of course there's that damn Pink Elephant song. Dumbo is just a terrible movie.
Yeah.
Full of racism and
I just feel like
terrible morals.
I feel like I need to watch it again. I don't think I've seen
no,
it
I
since,
love
like,
Dumbo.
It's probably been like 25 years.
I really do love that movie. It's hard to find a Disney movie that I could say I hate this movie.
Yeah.
Because I'm not much of a hating person. I love everything.
Which is why I'm in your life. Because I'm here to hate all the things for you. I will hate them all. But no, and I just wanted to throw that.
Sage brought up the Siamese cats
from
Lady and the Tramp.
From Lady and the Tramp.
and
that's another good example because
Peggy. Oh my God, I can't think of her name. Never know how much I love you. Never know how much I care. What the hell's her name? Peggy. It's Peggy. God damn it. No, she plays like all the female characters in that movie.
Yeah.
She plays the wife. She plays Darling. That's her name. Darling and Jim Dear.
But see, this raises a question for me.
But yeah, she played the Siamese cats too.
Yeah. See, this raises an interesting question for me. Bringing up the Siamese cats and Lady and the Tramp, okay?
Yeah.
Because I would say the same thing about the Siamese cats and Lady and the Tramp that I just said about the Crows and Dumbo, where my memory of it is not one of like, I don't feel like I was raised with any kind of like misguided or misplaced hatred for anyone.
Oh, no.
You know, the movie didn't teach me to be racist. However, why am I less opposed to the Siamese cats and Lady and the Tramp in my memory as I am to Mickey Rooney's portrayal of the landlord in Breakfast at Tiffany's? Because when I think about Mickey Rooney's portrayal of the landlord, I want to shoot people at how terribly offensive that was. And I'm not even remotely East Asian. Like, I get so mad.
Except you are, though.
Well, I guess I am actually. My great-great-grandmother was Chinese, but to look at me...
To look at you and to know you is to not know an Asian person.
And I feel
an East Asian person.
I feel very detached from that part of my heritage, unfortunately, because it was never a part of my upbringing. It's nowhere on my face. I've always just dreamed of the day where I could feel a little bit more culturally deep than I am because I was raised by fucking white Kentuckians.
I'm gonna get you to love Mulan.
Oh, I love Mulan. Are you kidding?
Okay.
You got me to love Mulan.
That's right. All right.
I love that.
It already happened.
But
I
this
was
is
just
what I'm
reminiscing.
talking about. This is what Disney does, though. Disney takes and exaggerates like all cultures in a way that it could be construed as offensive.
And then we mentioned Peter Pan briefly earlier. Peter Pan was another one with the red man.
I remember that. Oh, it was bad. Oh. But it was also very true to Barry's original story.
Yeah, no, to be fair.
Yeah.
Englishmen are racist bastards, too.
Well, we're all racist bastards. It's just
not just
Americans.
Man.
What is the deal with that, though? Why do you think that Disney can get away with the Siamese twins and Lady and the Tramp nowadays? Because I still don't hate them. But I hate Mickey Rooney and Breakfast at Tiffany's.
I wonder if it has something to do with the fact that there are these pieces, and again, it's in older movies, and they're still making movies, like, because it's such a big name, Disney, and it's existed for so many decades. And also I think it has something to do with the fact that it's animated.
It's cute.
And it's not just cute. I think and a lot of times it's not real people. It's anthropomorphized animals.
It's fucked up, is what it is.
It is. It's fucked up. It's fucked up.
Fucked up.
You know what? I actually, and I can't remember. Or is Lynn or Lamer or any of them under 12?
Swervy I think is 12, but I don't think he's still with us.
All right. Well, even if he goes back and later, I'll try to keep it G-rated enough. I enjoy certain erotic media, generally in the form of comics. And I prefer drawn erotic content to live-action erotic content a lot of the time because I feel like there is almost no, or little to no exploitation with it because it's drawn. It's drawn. There's no real people involved. Can it have an effect later on? Yes, but there's no real people involved. So I know for sure that this person, or the characters performing these acts for my viewing pleasure, They're doing it because, or they're drawing characters. They have no free will. And they have no sentience, as far as I know. The second we discover that, it's going to be a whole Star Trek The Next Generation episode, and I'm going to be like Data trying to prove their sentience to people, saying, no, we can't just throw the comic books into the fire to stop this disaster from happening, because the characters in these comic books are sentient, and they have hopes and dreams and feelings, and we can't just do that, otherwise we'd essentially be committing genocide. That was a really long thing.
No, I'm so sorry. This is a really thought-provoking segment of this discussion, in my opinion, because...
But I wonder if that's what it is.
But that doesn't make it okay.
It doesn't make it okay.
But, I mean, it doesn't make it okay, and it shouldn't make it okay.
There's been a whole bunch of things. Molly is total Asian. She loves Hello Panda. Mulan has the manliest song.
Mulan does have the manliest song.
Now I know why I like Molly. I love Asians.
Hentai, high five, Kat.
Yes, high five, great success. And I'm gonna say this: there's a lot of hentai and also a bunch of Japanese erotic manga that I like consistently downloaded and deleted and downloaded again when I was in high school. That I look back later and I was like, oh, I have fond memories of, Bondage Fairies. I have fond memories of this comic. I want to go back and read it. Because I remember this adorable little fairy. Her name is Piffle, P-F-I-L, and she's always getting herself into these predicaments. But then I read it now, and it's so rapey. It's so rapey. Oh my god. Like, and not in a sexy way, but in like, I'm really uncomfortable reading this, and I feel bad that I ever thought that this was good kind of way. And it's not that bad with, well, I don't know, maybe it is that bad. And if it's not, maybe it should be when we go back and watch things, I'm trying to think of, like, which one is probably...
Well, that's why we go back, though. That's why,
but it is good that we go back, and then we admit...
And that's why I need to go back and watch Dumbo again.
Jumbo?
Did I say Jumbo?
You mean Dumbo.
Oh. Is that...
Dumbo.
Are you quoting Dumbo?
Yes.
Oh. See, it's been so long since I've seen it, I didn't even know what was happening just now. So I need to go back and watch it. And I really sincerely hope that if more people actually end up watching our podcast, if this ends up becoming a thing that is refined and grown,
Bondage Fairies.
I sincerely hope that nobody listens to this and thinks that because I said that I remember Dumbo being not quite hateful, that can somehow mean that I'm racist. Because I try so very hard to remember things accurately as best I can, but it's probably been 25 years since I've seen Dumbo, and my memory of it is just not of the same kind of thing that I hear people talk about.
Well, and again, people can now say it because hindsight is 20/20. Like, oh yeah, no, Dumbo, it's such a racist movie. I'm like, whatever. You sat and bounced around and was like, Dumbo, when you were 3, so shut your fucking face.
And I don't think that it necessarily...
Get out with your hipster activism.
But it might have done something. It may have been harmful to people in the same way that movies like Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast were harmful to young women.
Yeah.
I could see how it could do that. And I'm glad we're talking about it, because the more we talk about it...
These are important things. Talking about it is the best thing you can do. Even if you're afraid you're going to say something stupid or possibly offend somebody. And if you do offend somebody, own up to it and don't be like, well, I didn't mean to and I was just... Meh. No, acknowledge that you offended somebody and, say, is there what can I do to help? And then shut up and listen and move on with your lives. Mm-hmm. It's all good.
Well, so we've covered racism and unrealistic expectations in relationships.
We talked a little bit about... the first, Disney's first instance of CGI animation.
Which, that's something else, too, that I would really like to talk about.
We should have known, this was what it was coming to.
That's what I'm saying, like, because I miss we were watching
animation.
We were watching Dr. Facilier.
Dr. Facilier.
In Princess and the Frog recently, and John was watching with us, and he hasn't seen Princess and the Frog. He didn't realize
when we
were watching it, he was very surprised to learn that it was actually one of the newer Disney films. He was surprised because they had gone back to that old classic animation, which was one of the things that I loved about Princess and the Frog so much, because I'm like, oh my god, it's like this just literally transported me back in time.
Yeah.
To a time when I really and truly loved Disney films, whereas now I feel like they're a little bit hit or miss, and they go a little overboard with the CGI, as a lot of people are prone to do these days.
Yeah.
And so did Beauty and the Beast, was that like the moment where Road Rules and Real World came together on MTV and ruined our lives forever with Real World versus the Road Rules?
What was I doing in 1991? I was in a red... I want to say it was a Chevrolet. Yeah, a red Chevrolet crossing the country from the desert in California to my current residence in Nebraska. That's what I was doing in 91.
Yeah, in 91, hold on a second.
I wonder...
I gotta mute real quick. Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry, my sinuses were killing me. I had to do something about it. So,
she did not want to sneeze in front of you.
Well, I was 8 years old, wasn't I? I was 8 years old in
Lynn,
91.
I'm glad you're enjoying, or I hope you're enjoying this podcast, and I hope that I Can't Wait for the next podcast isn't like, I can't wait for when you have your technical shit figured out.
The next one should be, well, and the next podcast, by the way, just a really quick side note, the next podcast will be broadcast to my channel, and it will be, we haven't actually settled on a topic yet, but we'll be going back to the more horror-centric stuff that you see on my channel. That'll be happening next week.
And that's why I'm glad that we're doing like the alternate weeks thing.
Yeah, me
because
too.
You already have a bit of a following, and you have your niches, which is what you're supposed to do. And I'm currently not doing that.
Well, you have just your amazing music videos, like your wonderful
ukulele, if I could get my
Mandarin
software to freaking render correctly.
We will get there, damn it. And
I should have just brought a ukulele now and done a song at the end of this.
You should have.
Maybe I'll sing a song a cappella, maybe.
The hope is that if the podcast does well on either or both of our channels, as we continue to do them, if people seem interested in hearing what we have to say and contributing to our conversation,
yes,
which is literally, I mean, the number one most important thing about this.
I love looking over. By the way, Siege says, when you were 3, racism wasn't an issue. I don't know if you mean like globally or like to me personally. I'm like, I don't think I understood what racism was when I was 3, but it was totally an issue, like, in the world.
Yes, but no, I didn't understand racism when I was 3 either. I mean,
did any of us?
No, I don't think any of us did.
Well, some of us, unfortunately, probably did.
Well, yeah.
Not as well as their parents, but... And that's an unfortunate fucking thing.
It is. Well, and there are a lot of things I could say, I guess, on the subject of like growing up in the world that I grew up in, you know, and then having that huge shock when I was out of high school, because I grew up in a bubble.
Yeah.
You know, very much a bubble. I was raised in an all-white neighborhood. I think there were maybe 2 black students at my high school. I think maybe 2, maybe more like 4, you know what I mean? But like very, very few black students at my high school.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I graduated from high school. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't graduate. It wasn't until I dropped out of high school. I wanted to sound fancy, but the fanciness is a lie. It wasn't until I dropped out of high school and started traveling around the country. I left home and started traveling around the States.
Which is what you should do.
That I started
If you were in a small town, you can totally go back. But go travel for a little bit.
It was important because I lived in such a fucking bubble. I mean, I had very little real life practical education regarding anyone other than the kind of people that I was raised with until I started traveling. And that really helped a lot. But I didn't understand the breadth or the weight and just what is the word I'm looking for? I didn't understand racism. You know what I mean? Because it was very... not much of a part of my life. There was a bit because we were you know pretty much the only Jewish family.
Yeah.
You know, there was a bit of that, but it was different. It was different for us, and I understood that as I got older. So, you know, but it's all about understanding and continuing to understand it. What was I trying to say?
Or if not understanding, at least having the commitment, or being committed to understanding.
Yeah.
You're not always going to understand. None of us are.
But being committed to it, and that's important. But we were talking about Disney films.
Disney films.
At some point during this conversation.
This is, by the way, this is all still about Disney and whether or not it ruined our lives.
Right. And I don't think that personally Disney raised me to be racist. I do think that they raised me with those unrealistic relationship expectations.
Yeah.
And I do think that it took me a long time to overcome the idea that someday I would be saved from my, impoverished existence, that one day a miracle would happen and I would
someday, damn it.
I would become something much larger than myself without having to work much at it, because a lot of magic is at play to make it happen for me, because I'm the chosen one. I grew up with that idea as well.
To be fair, when those stories were originally being spread around in the German countryside, it was a fine thing for a peasant girl to have happy dreams about, or depending on which version of which story you listened to that night around the fire. But yes, someday if I'm good and kind and obey my parents, and then someday if I'm kind to that old beggar woman down by the well, she will, something wonderful will happen to me someday.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not. It wasn't the worst thing.
That creepy ass lady that lives around the corner is my fairy fucking godmother. I'm waiting.
But unfortunately, we at least in this country don't have a peasantry. We have mostly lower middle class, I'd say.
Yeah.
That's a whole other conversation.
Yes,
we don't need to go there right now.
But yeah, I did have a question real quick, not to turn this, completely back onto the track.
Is it for our listeners or for me?
Well, it's for listeners as well. I know.
Just in case if you guys forgot that we love to hear from you.
Yeah, and media said the same thing. You were aware of racism, but hadn't experienced it directly. And I think that was exactly that. I had very little experiences with it as well. A couple, but very little.
Yeah.
Most of the abuse that I suffered at the hands of my peers growing up was more subcultural than anything. It was, but anyway, Kat, this is a question for you.
Yeah.
What are and I'm just going to basically I'm going to just veer us right back onto the Disney track. What do you think have been the three most positively influencing Disney films in your life? The three films that in your life personally, the three Disney films that have influenced you the most, have the most positive impact on your life.
See, okay, I'm really bad at choosing top 3, top 5.
How about the first three?
Top 10 even.
How about the first 3? All
right. I assume we're still talking about Disney animated movies. And I suppose, to be fair, when we, ask the question, did Disney ruin our lives, we're specifically referring to Disney animated movies.
Right.
Full-length features. Everything else kind of, satellites around it.
Yeah.
But when I think of Disney, at least, I think animated full-length feature.
Right.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull up the list of Disney theatrical animated features by year, chronologically listed, and I'm gonna list them all, and I'm gonna go through pretty quickly, and I think I'll put a finger up every time I think I found one that I think really positively influenced me. Is that what we're looking for?
Yeah, positive influence.
All right, so Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Dwarfs.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
The Seven Doors.
That would have been a fucked up movie.
She went through the first one and decided to stay there. The end.
Now, see, now I have an image in my head of 7 doors and Snow White cast in shadow, trembling as she looks to... One of the doors says, not scary. The other one says...
But it's
very
a lie.
Scary.
And the third door says, don't believe any of the doors you... They're all liars. Pinocchio, Fantasia. I'm going to put Fantasia in there, actually.
Okay.
Because that was a combination of I'm going to call it performance, even though it was animated performance, between performance and music. And even though there was no dialogue in the actual sequences, there was a little bit of dialogue between Mickey and the conductor every now and again. But I think that's probably one of the things that influenced my going toward theater and live performance as a child, if I had to guess. And there's so much epicness in those stories in Fantasia. So, but I'll go back to that and I'll keep going down the list. So Fantasia, Dumbo, Bambi, I'll skip through the ones that nobody knows. The Three Caballeros. I actually really love The Three Caballeros.
I've never even heard of that.
Oh, dude, we gotta watch that. You want to talk about, is it racist or isn't it? Let's watch The Three Caballeros.
It even sounds racist. Like, knowing that it's a Disney film with that title,
it's
immediately
Donald
assume
Duck
racist.
and these two other animated birds. I think one is from Mexico, who's like, gun shooting rooster with a giant sombrero, and then this cigar smoking like lady killer parrot from, I want to say, Brazil, maybe.
Okay.
But the music is really interesting, and there's actually a song in there, the English version of Solamente una vez, You Belong to My Heart, which is actually one of my favorite songs, A, to listen to, B, to sing, 3, or C, A, 7, to sing and play on the uke. It's a lovely, lovely song. And then all the ones that nobody knows. I do remember the Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, but
I remember that one.
I love
Ichabod.
I love Ichabod's character design so much,
too,
with his enormous nose and tiny hat.
Fantastic.
Cinderella, maybe, possibly. And that could just be because, you know, she had the really, like, stay positive attitude. And I think, like, I'm getting messages all the time now. Like, I have all of these posts up on Facebook saying, you know, like, oh, here's what's wrong with my stupid body and or brain today. But then people messaging me and saying, like, I just want to say kudos because you always stay so positive. And so maybe that's Cinderella. Alice in Wonderland. Again, maybe I could count that because that I think was probably my first exposure to Lewis Carroll's story, and that led me to the Cheshire Cat, which led to like 7 incarnations of me. And the Mad Hat Cat does have a little touch of Cheshire in there. Peter Pan, again, maybe. Lady and the Tramp. Peggy. What is her name?
I don't know. I'll look it up. I'm looking it up.
Just look it up.
Peggy. Siamese twins. Peggy.
Siamese cats.
I mean,
101 Dalmatians.
Peggy Lee.
Peggy Lee. God damn. Pardon my slew of profanity there. 101 Dalmatians, The Sword and the Stone, The Jungle Book, The Aristocats, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, The Rescuers. God, I just love all these movies so much.
I always forget about The Rescuers.
I love all of these so much. And side note about The Rescuers, I love this time in the 70s where just all of the music has such a distinctive sound.
Yeah.
Like, it's all just very, like, ethereal isn't the word. It's folksy popular music. Because the song at the beginning of The Rescuers, who will rescue me? Do-do-do-do-do. And then what's the with like the light jazz in the background when they're on the albatross. Come along. Da, 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 I don't remember the lyrics, but it's all just so. And the same thing with Pete's Dragon. I love Pete's Dragon. I'm gonna put Pete's Dragon in there.
Of your love.
All right,
for Pete's
so
Dragon.
Fantasia. I'm gonna put Pete's Dragon in there too. Okay, so The Fox and the Hound. Yeah.
Kat made me watch Pete's Dragon when we lived together.
I love that movie so fucking much.
She really loves that movie.
I love it. Oh my god. The Black Cauldron, The Great Mouse Detective. I may put The Great Mouse Detective in there too, and I may
really
try. I may rearrange these, but we'll see what happens. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Yeah, that might also definitely have an influence on me, because Jessica Rabbit made me want to be a burlesque performer. I didn't know it back then, but she's a big contributing factor. Her and Tex Avery's character Red, the Red Hot Riding Hood, the showgirl. with the wolf in the zoot suit with the auga.
Oh yeah,
the big eyes. Those two.
Yeah.
And Betty Boop. Those are the three of them. And also in The Great Mouse Detective, the little mousy showgirl, and her name is Miss Kitty, if you look in the credits. So you know what? I am putting. I love how all the ones I'm picking, it's because there's great show people in it. Because Pete's Dragon, it's the street mountebank. He's a performer with a mustache and a sidekick and a top hat.
No, it's an interesting question though, because these may have been the characters that just slightly nudged you in the direction of theater throughout the course of your youth.
True.
Like it really.
And even though I used to think that I would actually like go and work for Disney at some point, or like be a Broadway performer, not necessarily like a star, but a working Broadway performer. I love Oliver and Company. I know that's like it's not a great movie, but I love that movie so much. And there's another one because Bette Midler plays the poodle that belongs to the little girl. I can't think of her. It's like Yvette or something is her name. Perfect is Me, I think is the song, and Bet is just so you don't get singers like Bette Midler.
No, you don't.
In major theater anymore.
No. Well, I'm sure you probably do, but we're just not seeing it.
Pass me the paint and glue. Oh my God.
Well, the Little Mermaid. Who was the woman that voiced Gothel?
Oh, I want to say that she is also a Broadway personality.
Well, that's what I was going to say. She's someone who kind of reminds me. She has that
yes, okay,
that Midler-esque quality to her.
She counts.
She blew my mind, man.
Oh my gosh.
Not to talk about Tangled, because I'm not trying to talk about Tangled.
Donna Murphy.
Donna Murphy. She blew my mind with Gothel.
Such a voice.
One of the best performances I have ever seen.
And not just the singing, but just her voice acting
she
was
has
fantastic.
The oomph, that oomph that you really need.
She got that oomph.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, okay, so
The Little Mermaid, DuckTales the movie, also a movie I love. I love DuckTales so much. The Rescuers Down Under.
Now that's the one I think I remember more than the original The Rescuers. Because
Which
when you
is
were just
sad
singing
because
just now, I didn't recognize that song.
I can't remember any songs from The Rescuers Down Under.
Neither can
Which
I.
is saying something, because I maybe want to make a regular thing on my channel, and you guys can tell me what you think about this. I haven't been keeping up with the chat, but
we only have a couple viewers right now, so it's late, and we had a lot of issues, and we're new. So
song request: Why Should I Worry? Why should I worry? Tell me, why should I care? It may just be population. I got streets of welfare. Everything goes, everything fits. They love me at the Chelsea, they adore me at the Ritz. Oh my God, I love that movie so much.
Awesome.
There was no song in Down Under. Yeah, what's up with that, Disney?
There were no songs in the
Although I
Down
do
Under?
love, I can't remember the name of the little Australian critter, but it looks like a porcupine with like a teeny tiny skinny nose. I love that. I just love that animation in that movie. Like, that's what I remember most.
Why don't we
Although that one has a really good villain too, Rescuers Down Under.
We need to do a Disney karaoke podcast.
Oh my God. No, but see, dude, I just want to go through every single movie. I'm like, I'm going to sing every song from beginning to end. I don't care who the character is or if it's in my key. I will adjust.
Yeah. Well, no, and I love that you have the freedom to do that, because I don't have the range to do that. There are only like a couple of songs from the Disney,
we could work it out,
catalog that I could even sing.
We can work it out.
So we just need to do a Cat Does Disney Karaoke podcast,
oh my God.
And I'll just provide running commentary. But one of my favorite Disney songs is playing behind you, Kat.
What's that?
One of my favorite Disney songs is playing behind you.
Yes.
Yeah.
But after time has worn away the shock, you come to realize you've seen her kind of eyes watching you from underneath a rock. Oh man, even though there's a lot of reused animation, like frame by frame kind of wise in 101 Dalmatians. Kat, when's your music album coming out? I'm working on it, man.
We're working on it.
I'm working on it.
She needs one. It's true.
But what was I saying?
Oh, we were just we were going down the list.
So I've got and it's turned into a top 5. We got Fantasia, The Great Mouse Detective. I was really like picky. I loved a lot of those movies a lot, but I decided to stay out of them. Maybe I was pretty gritty. And so, all right, so and then for like 4 years, like 86, 88, 88, 89, just no discretion whatsoever.
Yeah, Johnny Cat really can sing. She's very talented. Very talented.
Some days. So Fantasia, The Great Mouse Detective, Who Framed Roger Rabbit,
Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderhand.
Underhanded Wonderland.
I think we just killed John.
I don't know that I would put Little Mermaid. No. You know what? I will put Little Mermaid in there. Not because I have any particularly like strong like feelings about that movie, but things that happened because I watched that movie.
Yeah.
So, the school that I went to, I went to Catholic school. K through college, baby! Yeah! So not Christian. But when at my school, they had a choir that would sing at Mass on Sundays, and you couldn't be in the choir at that time until, I want to say you had to be at least 10. And I sang The Little Mermaid, or I didn't sing The Little Mermaid, like the entire soundtrack. I sang Part of Your World, and I had the little costume and everything. I still have it. And I sometimes wear the skirt. It doesn't fit me the same as when it did when I was 5. Fits me a little differently now.
If it didn't, I'd be worried about you.
It's a little sexier now. It's a little sexier. Mm-hmm. But because of that, the choir director asked me to join the choir basically 5 years early. And so I think it would be unfair to The Little Mermaid to say that it did not have a positive influence on my life.
I think if you're going to credit The Little Mermaid for having a positive impact on your life, that's the best reason
best one
it
to
could
do it?
be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not
I can
that
approve that
I
reason.
wanted to be a rebel and disobey my parents.
And just basically spit in your father's face
Although,
for an hour
I was going to
and a half.
say a negative thing from Little Mermaid, the Little Mermaid may or may not have turned me into kind of a collection whore, which is
Did she turn you into a hoarder?
I like collecting things, and my parents call me. Well, they call me Wendy because I always used to like lead around small groups of children and somehow have this strange magic spell over them that made them sit like kids the same age as me.
You cast a spell on me,
and just kind of like
stopped.
directing them and leading them. But they would also call me the Little Mermaid because of my collections, and I still have those.
I see.
Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Nightmare Before Christmas. Hell yes. I know that I don't think of that as a Disney movie.
I don't either. I never think of Disney
since
when
it's
I
on
think
the
of
list,
that film.
Since it's on the list, and Disney helped make Tim Burton's dream possible for that, I'm going to put it on the list. I'm going to put it on the list because, and back to our, what did we, what was it, Severed Talking Pony Heads.
The Morbid Pony Podcast.
Morbid Pony Podcast. That's what we were originally going to call this before we settled on Can We Keep It?
Can We Keep It? I think
I like
that
Can
makes
We
more
Keep
sense.
It?
Yeah,
Can we
because
keep
it is it does make a lot of sense, you know. Oh my god, it's so cute.
But yeah, NMBC, The Nightmare Before Christmas, is just had a huge influence over my general aesthetic and love of certain things.
Yeah.
The Lion King, good movie. A Goofy movie, good movie.
Siege was talking about that one earlier.
Pocahontas, there was another one I did for the talent show.
Yeah, I hate Pocahontas too.
Well, Pocahontas has a lot of issues. God, we just keep coming up with so many issues. We'll have to have another episode for Disney. Toy Story, James and the Giant Peach.
Oh, I forgot that was Disney as well.
I'm going to put Hunchback of Notre Dame on there as well. Because it was just one more thing, despite not being very... or despite not being theologically Christian, I would say that I am behavior-wise pretty... Or some people would say Christian enough. I swear and I curse, which is the same thing maybe. But I like to think that I treat people like Jesus would want me to. You know, Jesus, my homeboy. But in the Hunchback of Notre Dame, there's a lot of sacred style music, and I love Latin sacred music so much.
And so do I, as someone who is not even remotely Christian. I love that.
I continued
I love that
to sing that into high school, and it's some of my favorite stuff to sing. So I'm going to put Hunchback of Notre Dame on the list too. Hercules, enjoyed that movie, pretty good. Mulan, I don't know if I'd put it on the list, but it's close.
See, I got into Mulan and Hunchback a little late in life. Yeah, those were not part of my childhood. They were part of my I was going to say at this point, at this point, I think we're almost out of my childhood. Okay. I think that's a good list. I think it's a really good...
I would say that those... you know what? I'm going to put 2 more on here. No, 3 more movies.
Oh, Media, you have to see Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, you gotta get
you on have that. To, absolutely. I mean, it's not one... I didn't mean to interrupt you, Kat.
Oh, no, please.
It's not one that I associate with Disney.
For some reason, I love them.
Whenever I think of Nightmare Before Christmas and James and the Giant Peach, for some reason I always think DreamWorks, which makes no sense because it's not DreamWorks.
I love James and the Giant Peach.
I enjoyed that too, although
not as much as the book, but...
The first time that I saw it, I went to the theater with my friends when it came out, and I spent the whole friggin' movie making out with my boyfriend at the time and completely missed it. I didn't actually see the movie the first time I saw it, and I went back and watched it like 10 years later, and I'm like, you know what, this is a damn fine film. I shouldn't have wasted that theater opportunity. You know, I was there in the theater. I could have seen it, you know, but I was just I was so into Christopher at the time.
Christopher.
Fucking Christopher. That guy. To be clear, I wasn't saying that I was into fucking Christopher, because I was really young at the time. That was bad word placement. Anyway, we just suck face. Okay, so I'm not... yes, you've not seen Nightmare Before Christmas. And then Pocahontas does have... Pocahontas, see, that to me...
Now, which one are you talking about?
Pocahontas, to me, is an overtly racist Disney film. You know,
but
like,
again,
like what we were talking about.
Racism, because it's the magical Indian.
It is, yeah.
And when I say Indian, believe me, it, like, hurts me to use that word, because I have known Indians, i.e. people from India, since I was born. And so it has never made sense to me. And I know that some American native tribes are comfortable being called Indian or American Indian, and that is cool for you. I'm just saying it doesn't work in my brain, and it never has, and it's always really bothered me when people just keep saying, like, or what does Louis C.K. say? Like, you're not Indians? No, we're the native people here. You're not in India. You're Indians. And we still call them that. 300 years later.
It's so stupid.
Savages is what Steve's talking about. See, yes, but I will make the argument that the Pocahontas' tribe, they sing savages about the white man.
Oh.
And it's like, I don't remember if it's the first verse. It's probably the second verse, so as to be like this, you know, shocking contrast, like, what? You think that the Europeans are savages? Maybe we should have thought harder about this.
Yeah.
You're right, Disney. We'll think about it.
Yeah, and see,
those white people are not respecting the land.
Yeah, and I guess what feels so
that I really love the villain in Pocahontas.
Oh, he was great. I loved going up against him in Kingdom Hearts. He was one of my favorite villains from the
I never made
Kingdom
it that far.
No. It wasn't Pocahontas.
It
wasn't Pocahontas. I'm sorry, it was Tarzan. Never mind, just disregard what I said. It was the villain from Tarzan that I loved in Kingdom Hearts. The villain from Pocahontas isn't even in Kingdom Hearts.
To be fair, Clayton, if he just really let himself go, could totally be... I want to say he's a count.
Are they similar? Because when you said the villain from Pocahontas, I saw Clayton from Tarzan.
Shaped noses.
Maybe that's all that it is.
They kind of hawkish, parrotty noses.
I loved Clayton. I didn't mean to just completely stop the Pocahontas conversation.
It's all part of the story octopus.
Oh, yes, story octopus. No, but I think the reason why I have such a problem with Pocahontas and why I feel that it's a more overtly racist film,
it absolutely
is because of what I felt to be a blatant and unashamed disregard for the source material.
Oh yeah,
which I think the source material is important.
It's one thing to mess with the source material when it's a fairy tale,
like Beauty and the Beast.
It's another thing when it is
historic fact,
historical, as much as we can. Now,
yes.
to be fair, who knows how, and I'm sure we could find out with some research, how far they delved into the history of that, because a lot of it has been written over.
Absolutely.
And
it has become a thing of legend.
Facts have been omitted.
Right.
And even though there is a lot of supporting evidence to show certain things, like how John Smith tricked Pocahontas back into the ship, and I think it was like either from a family that was in her tribe or from a neighboring tribe that tricked her, and she was basically held captive on their ship and like starved and kept in horrible conditions.
Yeah.
So basically, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
And what's that word we were looking for earlier? Fucked up. Yes.
Yes, that is the word.
That's the phrase. Yes,
Governor
Radcliffe.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so for some reason, when you mentioned Governor Radcliffe...
He's another just fabulous
I saw
villain
Clayton from
that
Tarzan.
I love. And he has such a good song, too.
Yeah.
Mine, mine, mine every mountain and dig, boys. Dig till you drop like a pig, boys. Quick, boys. Shovel it, shove it. Marvelous love. I don't remember the lyrics
I wish you guys could have seen her hands. I wish you could have seen what she was just doing with her arms just then. It was beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, no, that's a really good list, and I'm glad to hear more, the Disney films that had those positive impacts, because you do see a lot of people, us included, because this, obviously that's the subject that we were exploring today, was whether or not Disney ruined our lives. But you see a lot of people talking about the negative impacts that Disney films have had.
Or what's the, on... I think is it Screen Rant or something like that, where it's like the dark side of Disney.
Oh yeah, well that's what I was referring to.
And those are fun to watch.
Absolutely.
And it's what we're talking about right now, just in popular culture in general.
Mm-hmm.
Is we're talking about we favor the anti-hero. We want to look at the dark and gritty stuff because we feel like we've matured as a society past the frilly, feathery, bubbly Disney bits of our past.
Yeah. But see,
we haven't.
That's what I like getting back to, honestly. And ironically,
it's all intertwined.
As someone who hates quite a lot of things, it is I get tired of hearing just one commentary after another on the subject of the darker side of Disney. And I want to remember some of the good things about it. Yes, we know, they were
racist.
Yes, we know. Disney was racist. Yes, we know.
You shouldn't try to tamp that down, because it is important and it is needed to be said.
I agree. But at the same time, there were plenty of Disney films, and still are plenty of Disney films, that are making positive impacts on the kids and the adults who watch them. And I like to think about those and focus on those things because it's what makes them so magical. And as I've gotten older, I've started watching more contemporary Disney films that seem to be having an even more lasting positive impact on my life now than they ever could have when I was a child, like the Tinkerbell movies.
I was just going to say, please
fucking Tinkerbell, man.
Just take a second
it's
and
magical.
Talk about the Tinkerbell movies.
They are magical. If you are listening to this podcast right now or later and you have not seen the Tinkerbell movies, I beg you to watch them.
Just the first one. And
Because
the last one.
They're amazing. Like, the first and the last one, yes. The first Tinkerbell movie, which is just called Tinkerbell.
Not that the others, aren't... Again, it's just because it's not a great movie doesn't mean that it can't be enjoyable to watch.
Right.
And if anyone tries to tell you otherwise, you know what? Forget them.
Yeah.
Sit your butt down. Turn on your streaming service.
Yeah.
Not that Disney is allowing a whole lot of its stuff to be
No,
streamed.
it's not. Well, they gotta make that money off of their re-releases of the super special editions.
No, they're trying to make their own stupid streaming platform, and that's fine if that's what you want to do.
I heard about that recently.
But until you get that, you've got to give us something.
Yeah, but no, really, like,
hey, Smurfy's back.
Hey, what's up, Smurfy? Welcome back. But yeah, if I were actually going to recommend any Disney movie for its positivity alone, its positive message, its influence, everything that it does right in terms of telling a good story.
Yep.
It would be the last and final Tinkerbell movie. It would be Legend of the Neverbeast. It is, I think, Disney's finest hour. And I can't believe that I say that about a contemporary Disney film.
Well, and also, it was a direct-to-video.
It was a direct-to-video, which blows my fucking mind even further. Because, I mean...
It's so disappointing that...
I don't even know how that happened.
That they were gearing up to, like, have kind of each one of
of the fairies have their own
other
film.
fairies have kind of their centric film.
Right, and Fawn was the central character of the first of those films.
But then they shut down that department.
Yeah. But it is
sad days.
When I was watching it, I felt...
But at the same time, I think that also, like, makes Legend of the Neverbeast, like, all the more perfect.
It's like Thief and the Cobbler.
Yeah.
When you have a controversy surrounding a film like that and something that just sort of fizzles out, I think it really does it, in a weird way, it does it a favor.
Swervy likes The Jungle Book.
The Jungle Book is I wish that I could remember it. I don't remember The Jungle Book. I know that I watched it as a kid and then I just never went back.
Oh, so Swervy must be, like, extra super disappointed that the Bare Necessities Uke video has not gone up yet.
You gotta get that video
I'm working
up.
on it. I'm
Hopefully-
working on it. My
hopefully
computer is
for the
being
next-
such a dumb butt.
Even though the next podcast is going to be, excuse me, even though the next podcast is going to be horror related, I'm hoping that Kat will bring her ukulele and maybe play us out with a song when we're done.
Oh, I could think of a horror related song.
Like a scary
I'm sure.
song?
Yes.
There are plenty of those out there.
We
could
totally
definitely
do
find
that.
some scary songs. Ooh, or if you could learn to play Poisoning Pigeons in the Park by Tom Lehrer. That would be amazing. That's a fantastic song.
Poisoning pigeons in the park. Oh, I love Tom Lehrer so much.
Oh,
He
me
just
too.
makes
He's
me
just one of the best.
happy.
The Masochism Tango. It's still one of my top 5 favorite songs.
So sorry, I interrupted. You were saying a thing about the Tinkerbell and the Neverbeast controversy, and that makes it all the more special.
Bash in my brain and make me scream with pain. Then do it once again and say we'll never part. Sorry, now I just want to sing the Masochism Tango. What were we talking about?
I was gonna say, do I need to look up the lyrics?
No, it's okay.
Play the Eternal Darkness theme.
Oh my God, Swervy, no. No, but yeah, Legend of the Neverbeast, and I felt because and I don't want to get into a conversation that's not Disney related, but I can't help but draw a parallel between Legend of the Neverbeast and the reboot of My Little Pony with Friendship is Magic, because it's something that I felt even the older Disney films, although I think it does pertain more to that renaissance that you were referring to.
Yeah.
With the Beauty and the Beast, The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, that sweet spot that they hit with their storytelling.
Yeah.
Which, will always be my favorite era for Disney.
Yeah.
And
that could also have something to do with the fact that was our childhood.
Yes, exactly. I'm sure that people that were born like 10, 15 years earlier.
We will acknowledge this possible influencing fact.
Absolutely.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. It's just, to me, there was a kind of innocence, a kind of pure, unadulterated joy for life present in those films.
And it wasn't talking down to you.
It was not.
Which is
they
something
were
I
not talking
cannot
down.
stand. There's some children's programming that I love to watch, and other children's programming that I'm like, if I was 3 right now, I'd fucking hate you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because you're talking to me like I'm an idiot. Just tell me a fucking story.
Exactly.
How will I ever learn to speak properly if you don't use, like, actual sentences that you would say to other people?
That's why I hated that movie.
Don't give me this simplified language bullshit.
Well, it was a DreamWorks one with the oh god, Jim Parsons did the voice of the alien in it. It was a DreamWorks picture, a recent one. Home. I hated that movie because I hated.
I've only seen it once, and I think maybe I like it. I don't know.
God, the whole
I don't
thing
know. I
annoyed
think I might like it.
The whole thing annoyed the shit out of me because they were trying to be cute with the way that the alien talked and he said everything wrong, but it just felt like pandering to a child's audience to me.
Yeah.
In a way that was like, are you kidding? It's not cute.
It's
Stitch
tricky.
Stitch
It's tricky.
was cute.
Yes, it was, and it makes my heart hurt.
I thought that...
I'm gonna... See, that was one of the ones, you know how I said, like, I know this is, like, the end of my childhood as far as, like, influencing factors, but I'm gonna put Lilo and Stitch in there.
Yeah. Now, was that Disney or DreamWorks?
No, it was Disney.
It was Disney, okay.
Don't you remember all of the teaser trailers where it was, like, a piece of an old Disney movie? I think there was one with, like, Ariel up on the rock. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I know something started. Why is there a big, giant hurricane wave coming over me? Sploosh!
I didn't see
and it was Stitch, like, on his ship, I think, and she... like, throws the starfish at him. Get your own movie. And then they had one with Aladdin where they're on the carpet. A dazzling place I never knew, but when I'm way up here, he pulls up in this. And she's all like, "Oh, hello." And she gets off into the ship with Stitch and woo, tears off. Hey, get your own movie.
I
Sorry,
absolutely
Aladdin.
have to look these
You
up
lost.
because I never saw them, and I feel like I'm missing something beautiful
It was
here.
so. It was clever.
Wow.
It was really very clever.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things like, well done, Disney.
Yeah, and see, that's
Well
what I
done.
mean. Like, with Stitch, he was an alien, who struggled to understand our human ways.
He was not an alien. He was a mutant experiment.
I'm sorry, you're right.
626.
I'm so sorry, Doctor, whatever your name was. I don't remember.
Jumba.
But, no, I
Jumba.
felt that Stitch was, he was an alien who struggled to understand our ways, who couldn't quite speak our language and all of that cute shit that just made us want to hug him in that
Didn't
cute,
understand rain.
that cute aggression way where you're like, oh
Yes,
God, Stitch, I
cute
just want to
aggression.
fucking bite your face off.
Can we make cute aggression a hashtag too?
We absolutely should make cute aggression a hashtag. But you know, it was done in a smart way, in a clever way, in a way that Home wasn't. You know, I felt that the alien character from Home, there was a nonsensical element to it that felt pandering. Like, it was cute for cute's sake.
Yeah.
And they were trying too hard to appeal to children with him. And that really bothered me. Now, that was a DreamWorks picture. That was absolutely DreamWorks Home.
Yeah,
was.
no,
So
no,
I'm really
that
right
was-
about that. But, like, so it doesn't really
It was
count.
no Pixar movie, which we haven't even touched.
Oh, God, the Pixar
But Pixar
movies,
really
though.
didn't really become much of a thing.
No.
At least not in the sense that we know it to be today.
No, and I don't think...
Until we were no longer what you might call children.
I remember I was slightly still what I would consider young when the first Toy Story came out. You know, but I didn't watch Toy Story until way later in that life. Because at that time when Toy Story came out, I was in my uber goth phase. And I couldn't be bothered with animated films for like many years. I wanted nothing to do with anything written for children because my black heart would not allow for it.
Yeah.
I was too busy,
But then,
you know, with other things. But then Kat came into my life, which this will be a good way to wrap things up, I think. Because for this Disney discussion, we've been talking for a long time, and I'm so glad we have.
And thanks for everybody who were...
Actually stuck around. Thank you.
Well, and went away and came back.
Yeah, and hopefully next week we'll have gotten a little bit more of the hang of it.
And I think this, because this has been going for an hour and 22 minutes, and I don't think we've had any buffer problems.
Okay, awesome. So these settings are good.
If these settings are good, and hopefully we will get it figured out where we can do dynamic screen stuff, etc. But for now, this is good. Right. We're working on it.
Exactly. But so the reason...
So wrapping up.
If somebody were to ask me, you know, that question, did Disney ruin your life? The softcore racism, the horrible relationships that were born in my, you know, late teens and early 20s from having been raised on Disney princess stories, the weird skewed... you know, economic and socio-political views, you know, all of it, the things that they did that may have hurt me growing up. Disney absolutely did not ruin my life because it brought me Kat, who is my best friend. And Disney is what we bonded over very early on because of these questions and because of our desire to get to the root of Disney's fucking infuriating magic.
What is it? Disney magic. How the fuck does it work?
How does it work? Why does it work? How has it made it who we are today? And no, but also not only that, you taught me that I can be in my early 30s and I can watch a fucking Tinkerbell movie.
Yes, you can.
And not only can I watch it, but I can actually use it as a chaser after watching Blood for Dracula. You know, or
Flesh for Frankenstein.
Or Flesh for Frankenstein. Or, you know, I can watch Return to Slaughter High and turn around and watch Tinkerbell and The Legend of the Never Beast. You know, which actually that's not the title of the film. The title is just The Legend of the Never Beast. And I can enjoy both. And I can embrace the sort of darker aspects of life and the things that I love most, which are those questions of mortality and, you know, taking that long, hard look at my fears. Mm-hmm. And I can do that perpetual, ongoing autopsy of the darker side of Disney. But I can also just sit down in my owl pajamas and I can watch a Tinkerbell movie and I can literally have tears in my eyes at how happy I am to be alive. And Disney and Kat taught me that. And they taught me that really late in life.
I am actually probably going to cry right
Don't
now.
cry. Don't cry.
I'm going to fucking cry.
But that is why I will never, ever believe that Disney ruined my life. I think that it has only helped it. And it has helped it more in recent years than it ever did when I was a child. And so yay, Disney. That's my conclusion, is no, that Disney did not ruin my life. I don't know about you.
I think I would also...
Oh, yay!
Sith Wax is on it. Thank you. I was just about to say, Siege, I will not forget my matcha Kit Kat, which look awesome.
I think John is psychic because he just came in and set the hello pages in the
he's
Kit
sitting
Kat.
on the live chat. He's watching us.
I forgot to.
If I had to say, did Disney ruin my life, that would be like asking, did loving at first sight Edward Scissorhands on the television at one of my first ever slumber parties, and all of the other children cowering in the corner, and me just like blissfully staring at the television going, I don't know what this is, but I love it. That's the similar kind of question, because did it alienate me and make me a little freakish? Maybe. But at the same time, both of these things, this love of not just love of Disney, not just blatant, blind, passionate love, because it's not blind. It's I think you and I both love Disney in spite of the things, the mistakes. You want to talk about mistakes? Did Disney princesses make mistakes? Sometimes. Has Disney made mistakes?
All the time. Yeah.
And yet we love them, not in spite of their mistakes, maybe.
Yeah.
We love them because they make mistakes, and they also do very wonderful things, very wonderful, beautiful things that make us happy to be alive.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I don't know that I'll ever forget the first time that I watched Tinkerbell with you.
It was like a religious experience.
It was a religious experience. Because, again, is it like the height of wonderful cinema?
No, absolutely not.
Is it the height of, perfect cutting-edge animation? No, it's not. And yet, something about it, that old Disney magic.
Fucking Disney magic.
Just, it can take such a simple story and present it to us in such a way that, in our I suppose at the time I was in my mid-20s, and you were in late 20s?
Early 30s.
Early 30s, okay. I never remember what our age difference is.
It's all right. It's a lot bigger than we remember. But yeah.
But to be able to sit and watch that and have a very pure experience with it, to be able to watch it and just feel emotions without anything else getting in the way. And maybe we were just lucky and sheltered because we were there together and there was no one to judge us.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're not very concerned with people judging us anyway. We're also lucky that we live in such a way where we don't mind the judgments of others so much.
Not so much.
But to be able to... all right, Siege, I will open up while I'm finishing up here. He wants me to try a Kit Kat.
He did say that he wanted you to taste one of those green tea Kit Kats on camera, which I know we didn't do the playroom today.
It's okay. I'll save one for another video. But to be able to have that pure experience in a world where, it's just shit sometimes.
Yes.
Especially, I mean, yes, the world's always shit. Yes, there's always some asshole in power. But really, especially in the last year and a half, to be able to have an hour and 20 minutes or less to be able to just feel like the world is not totally terrible, mm-hmm. and to feel like people are able and willing to do good things for each other.
Absolutely.
With no other motivation than it's the right thing to do.
Right.
Or it's the kind thing to do.
Yeah.
And Disney didn't ruin my life.
It didn't ruin my either.
It didn't ruin my life.
And I think that what you're talking about...
It's becomes... Even if I have problems with the way that Disney handles a lot of stuff, like as a corporation.
Oh, absolutely.
And even though they've had things like Jim Crow, and you know, Jazzbo, orangutan, monkey clan in the Jungle Book, etc. Even with all that, they are still able to bring a lot of magic into my life. And you know what? We need magic in our lives.
I completely agree with that. I do. I think now more than ever it's important. And
we absolutely and not to retreat into and hide away with and ignore the outside world.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's all I ever do. I can't function without hiding away from the world.
We can totally do that. But at the same time, I'm at least able to, you know, take that, and I think that Disney is, among other things, Steven Universe also, is able to, you know, take me out of the terrible down lows and sads that I get into, and be able to go out into the world and still try. Because and not just for me, but for other people. I want things to be good for other people. So thanks, Disney, for not being totally terrible.
Oh, I think that's a great place to end. This was great, by the way. I mean, I know we had a lot of technical difficulties, but this was really fun.
I'm excited to go back and to put in a little like elevator music. Please stand by. Technical difficulties are being attended to. All right.
But yeah, Siege and Media. I don't know if Media is still here, but thank you guys for sticking around and coming back. And Pugs too.
Even if you're not here live with us currently. I will thank you post your leaving.
See, I think we should talk about this, what Johnny just said. I think we should talk about this next time we talk about Disney. I think we should talk a little bit more about current, present-day Disney and, like, a lot of the shit they're being given for Star Wars. And I think that would be really, the next time that we do a Disney discussion, we will definitely talk about that, because we've got a lot of opinions on that score.
For any future watchers of this... of the live stream replay, if you catch this before I delete them and recobble them into an edited video, so that we don't have the troubleshooting with Molly and Kat section in there, I would ask a question to you, possible potential future listeners / viewers. What was your experience growing up with Disney? Did you grow up with Disney? Was it something that was never in your household? And do you think it had a positive effect on your life, a negative effect, a combination of the two? And if you have any other thoughts or questions, even if they don't necessarily pertain to Disney, we'd love to hear about them.
What are your thoughts on The Little Mermaid?
That's what Molly wants to know.
I want to know what everyone thinks about The Little Mermaid. Do you hate her as much as I do? Do you wish... that she had just never been born? That's a lie. I don't wish that of anyone. Fucking hate Little Mermaid, though. No, yeah, I would like to know, too. Like,
Siege, I love my matcha Kit Kat. Thank you so much.
Yay, matcha Kit Kat.
American Tail, your thoughts? No! American Tail is Don Bluth. We'll get to Don Bluth another day. I love Don Bluth so much, even though I can't always remember his name. I did say that maybe we'd end on a song. And even though I don't have my uke, I'd do something quick a cappella. Can we think of anything? I won't do the whole thing. I'll just do a chorus or a verse or something.
Well, let's turn to our viewers. What should Kat sing us out with, guys?
I'm open to suggestions.
And Media, I too love Belle. I too love Belle.
I also love that they. I don't know if it was because I don't think it was originally a French story, was it?
Excuse me. I sneezed.
The Never-Ending Story song. Never-Ending Story. Joe my friend Joe would love that. I don't know that song all the way through. Oh gosh.
What's a good one? What's a good one to go out on?
We talked about Beauty and the Beast. We talked about... Or I was going to say, I think... I probably said something from Beauty and the Beast. I think I sang a little bit of almost every movie we mentioned. But I'm...
Oh, we could always do the... honestly, we were talking about Disney, and its positive impact. We could always just end on the note of the opening monologue. Do you remember it?
No, not entirely. I'll get stage fright, so... I'm gonna look it up. And actually, I may even put the music on in the background.
Oh, that'd be great.
And then we can say that. I love that. From Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, they all really want the Never-Ending Story song. Maybe you should just look that up.
It's not Disney.
It's not Disney, that's true.
I specifically asked about a Disney.
Let's see what we got. Hold on.
All right. I've got lyrics up.
Johnny says we should always end singing a Disney song. I mean, I could try to sing with her, but I'm just gonna let you all know that I'm not. I don't have the range that Kat does. There are only a few songs that I can actually sing without sounding like a dying squirrel.
Could you possibly look up the soundtrack, the opening monologue? I think the music exists.
Oh, to Beauty and the Beast.
If not, I have it here, and we can.
Oh, I don't need the fucking lyrics. I got it memorized.
Well, I know you do. I was going to say, I doubt myself a couple of times, which is why...
okay, Beauty and the Beast. Oh, shit.
And if not, we'll just read it in a very dramatic sort of way. By the way, you guys, we're thinking about doing a dramatic reading series of 50 Shades of Grey, and I'm gonna make Anna not sound stupid.
Now, see, we originally
Bold choice,
talked about you doing a series called Getting Drunk with Christian Grey, where you get drunk and do dramatic readings of 50 Shades, which I think would be awesome.
See, but me getting drunk just makes me more theatrical and occasionally go into French.
All right, here we go.
Oh, we got it?
Oh, that...
There we go.
Once upon a time, in a faraway land, a young prince lived in a shining castle. Although he had everything his heart desired, the prince was spoiled, selfish, and unkind. But then, one winter's night, an old beggar woman came to the castle and offered him a single rose in return for shelter from the bitter cold. Repulsed by her haggard appearance, the prince sneered at the gift and turned the old woman away. But she warned him not to be deceived by appearances, for beauty is found within. And when he dismissed her again, the old woman's ugliness melted away to reveal a beautiful enchantress. The prince tried to apologize, but it was too late, for she had seen that there was no love in his heart. And as punishment, she transformed him into a hideous beast and placed a powerful spell on the castle. And all who lived there... It's fucked up.
It is.
Ashamed of his monstrous form, the beast concealed himself inside his castle, with a magic mirror as his only window to the outside world. The rose she had offered was truly an enchanted rose, which would bloom until his 21st year. If he could learn to love another, and earn her love in return by the time the last petal fell, then the spell would be broken.
If not, he would be doomed to remain a beast for all time. As the years passed, he fell into despair and lost all hope. For who could ever learn to love a beast?
All right, guys.
Little town.
We hope you have a wonderful night.
This
was awesome. I'm really glad that we did this. Thanks for watching.
Like the one before. I love you guys so much. Bye. This has been crazy fun. I hope you join us next week. We will work really hard on getting all of our technical issues sorted out. And heaven willing, Disney willing, we will start next Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Central Time.
Yes.
It's gonna happen.
All right.
I can feel it in my bones.
Talk to us about Disney in the comments, please. We want to hear what you want to say.
We love you. Good night.